You say you want peace. You say you are tired of drama, tired of chaos, tired of intensity. But when calm finally arrives, something inside you feels unsettled. Silence feels suspicious. Stability feels unfamiliar. And unfamiliar does not always feel safe. Peace is not just the absence of conflict. It is the absence of stimulation your nervous system has grown used to. If your system was shaped around tension, unpredictability, or emotional volatility, peace can feel empty rather than relieving. You may say you want calm relationships, steady progress, emotional stability. But when those things appear, you feel restless. You look for what is missing. You search for the spark, the edge, the pull. That pull is not love, it is familiarity. The nervous system does not prioritize happiness. It prioritizes what it recognizes. Recognition feels like safety, even when it is painful. If you grew up around inconsistency, calm can feel wrong. If you learn to associate love with emotional distance, steady presence can feel boring. You interpret calm as lack of chemistry, but what you are really feeling is the absence of chaos. Chaos creates intensity. Intensity creates adrenaline. Adrenaline creates attachment. Your body confuses activation with connection. So when someone stable shows up, you feel nothing dramatic. No spike, no rush, just steadiness. And steadiness feels flat when you are wired for fluctuation. This is the hidden conflict. Consciously, you want peace. Subconsciously, you crave the emotional pattern you understand. You may even sabotage calm without realizing it. You overanalyze. You withdraw. You create distance. You provoke tension. Not because you want suffering, but because your system is trying to restore a familiar rhythm. Familiar pain feels predictable. Predictability feels safe. There is something strangely comforting about knowing how things will fall apart. You know the script. You know the ending. Unfamiliar peace has no script. It asks you to trust something you have not practiced. Trust requires surrendering control. Control is easier in chaos. In chaos, you know how to react. You know how to adapt. You know how to survive. Peace requires a different skill. It requires staying present without scanning for threat. If your body is trained to anticipate disruption, calm can feel like waiting for impact. You brace for something that is not happening. That bracing creates internal tension. Then you misinterpret that tension as dissatisfaction. You tell yourself something is missing. But what is missing is the drama your system expects. This pattern extends beyond relationships. You may recreate urgency in work. You may delay tasks until pressure forces intensity. You function best in crisis. When things are smooth, you lose motivation. You are not addicted to stress. You are accustomed to it. Stress has been your baseline. Peace feels like understimulation. When your nervous system is dysregulated long enough, regulation feels dull. That dullness is not emptiness. It is recalibration. But recalibration is uncomfortable. It feels like withdrawal. Withdrawal from adrenaline. Withdrawal from chaos. And withdrawal creates craving. You may crave the emotional highs of instability because they make you feel alive. Alive does not always mean healthy. There is a difference between aliveness and activation. Activation is sharp, loud, immediate. Aliveness is steady, grounded, sustainable. If you confuse the two, you will continue choosing intensity over stability. You will tell yourself you are passionate, but you are overstimulated. You will tell yourself you are deeply connected, but you are bonded through anxiety. Anxiety bonds feel powerful. They are built on unpredictability. When someone is inconsistent, your attention heightens. You invest more energy. You think more often. You attach more quickly. Your mind believes that effort equals value. So when a connection feels easy, you question it. Ease feels undeserved. You may even believe that love must be earned through struggle. That belief shapes your choices quietly. You may overlook someone kind because they do not trigger your nervous system. You may pursue someone distant because they do. Distance creates chase. Chase creates intensity. Intensity mimics meaning. But meaning built on instability collapses under pressure. You know this pattern. You have seen it repeat. Different face, same emotional experience. You tell yourself you just have bad luck. But luck does not explain repetition. Repetition reveals preference, not conscious preference, conditioned preference. You choose what feels coherent with your history. If your history included emotional inconsistency, your system equates inconsistency with connection. You are not broken for this. You are patterned. Patterns are powerful because they operate below awareness. They feel like personality. You may say you are just drawn to strong personalities, or that you like depth, or that you need intensity. But depth does not require chaos. Intensity does not require instability. You can have passion without volatility. You can have closeness without anxiety. But only if your system learns to tolerate peace. Tolerance is the key. You do not instantly enjoy unfamiliar stability. You build tolerance for it. The first phase feels flat. The second phase feels uncertain. The third phase begins to feel safe. Most people retreat in phase 1. They interpret flatness as incompatibility. They walk away before their system adapts. Adaptation requires time. Time feels risky. You worry that if you choose calm, you will lose excitement. You fear becoming bored. But boredom often masks nervous system withdrawal. You are not bored. You are detoxing from intensity. That detox can feel uncomfortable. Your body wants stimulation. But stimulation is not the same as fulfillment. Fulfillment grows slowly. It builds through reliability. Reliability feels quiet. Quiet feels unfamiliar. And unfamiliar feels unsafe until it becomes known. If you truly want peace, you must allow yourself to feel the discomfort of calm. You must resist the urge to manufacture drama. You must notice when you're searching for what is wrong. You must observe your impulse to test stability. Testing often looks like subtle sabotage. You pull back to see if they chase. You create tension to feel chemistry. You question safety because it feels suspicious. These behaviors are protective, but protection can prevent growth. Growth requires letting peace feel strange without abandoning it. It requires staying in the room when nothing explosive is happening. It requires choosing steady over thrilling. That choice feels anticlimactic, but anticlimactic is often where maturity begins. Maturity is not the absence of feeling. It is the ability to regulate it. When you regulate, you do not need chaos to feel alive. You feel grounded instead of electrified. Electrified fades quickly. Grounded endures. There is grief in this process. Grief for the intensity you are releasing. Grief for the identity built around surviving emotional highs and lows. You may have seen yourself as someone who loves deeply. But loving deeply does not mean loving dramatically. Drama is not depth. It is volatility. Volatility keeps you alert. Alertness feels meaningful, but it drains you. Peace restores you. Restoration can feel unfamiliar at first. Your system may resist it. It may whisper that something is missing. But what is missing is the chaos you have mistaken for connection. When you sit with steady presence long enough, something shifts. You begin to notice small details. Consistency, respect, emotional safety. Those qualities do not shout. They reveal themselves gradually. Gradual revelation builds trust. Trust builds security. Security allows intimacy without fear. Intimacy without fear feels different. It is not dramatic. It is warm. Warmth does not spike your adrenaline. It softens your body. Softening can feel vulnerable. Vulnerability without chaos is new territory. New territory feels uncertain, but uncertainty is not danger. It is expansion. If you are honest, the intensity you crave often ends the same way. Exhaustion, confusion, emotional depletion. You promise yourself you want something healthier. Yet when healthy appears, you hesitate. That hesitation is not confusion. It is conditioning. Conditioning can be rewired, but only through repetition. You must choose calm repeatedly until it becomes familiar. Familiarity reshapes attraction. Attraction shifts when your baseline shifts. When your baseline is peace, chaos feels jarring. When your baseline is chaos, peace feels dull. Your baseline determines your desire. So the work is not forcing yourself to like calm. It is expanding your tolerance until calm feels safe. Safety allows depth. Depth without fear creates connection that lasts. You do not actually want pain. You want coherence. Pain has been coherent with your history. Peace has not. But history does not have to dictate future preference. You can teach your system a new rhythm. A rhythm without spikes. A rhythm without constant vigilance. A rhythm where love does not feel like survival. Survival bonds are intense. Secure bonds are steady. Steady can feel unfamiliar. Unfamiliar can feel empty. But empty is often just space. Space allows growth. Growth requires room. Chaos fills every gap. Peace creates space. In that space, You meet yourself without distraction. That meeting can feel uncomfortable. Because without chaos, you cannot blame intensity for your unease. You must confront your own restlessness. Restlessness often masks unresolved emotion. When chaos quiets, those emotions surface. You may avoid peace because you fear what will arise in stillness. Stillness reveals. Revelation requires courage, but revelation leads to healing. Healing reduces your need for stimulation. When you are healed enough, you no longer crave turbulence to feel alive. You crave stability because it allows you to build. Build a relationship. Build a life. Build self-trust. Self-trust grows in calm environments. Chaos erodes it. If you continue choosing familiar pain, it is not because you are weak. It is because you are conditioned. Conditioning is powerful, but awareness interrupts it. When you notice the pull toward intensity, pause. Ask yourself whether it is connection or activation. Ask whether you are seeking depth or adrenaline. Ask whether you are choosing peace or pattern. Patterns repeat until they are examined. Peace requires examination. Examination requires honesty. Honesty may reveal that you have been equating volatility with value. You may realize that you have mistaken emotional turbulence for passion. Passion does not require instability. It requires presence. Presence is steady. Steady is calm. Calm is quiet. Quiet can feel unfamiliar. But unfamiliar does not mean wrong. Sometimes unfamiliar is simply new. If you want peace, you must allow newness. You must allow your body to adjust. You must endure the discomfort of not being activated. You must redefine what feels meaningful. Meaning can exist without chaos. Connection can exist without anxiety. Love can exist without drama. But only if you stop chasing what hurts simply because it feels known. You do not actually want pain. You want something that feels like home. The question is whether you are willing to build a new home. One that is stable. One that is steady. One that does not require you to survive it. Because real peace does not excite you at first. It steadies you. And steady, over time, becomes safety. And safety over time becomes love. Not the kind that spikes, the kind that stays.